Today we're going to be replacing the brace on this 180 gallon tank. I'm going to show you how to do everything from removing it to installing it. Hey, this is Bruce with the Aquarium Life. So in today's video I'm going to show you how to replace the upper brace on an aquarium that's already set up. This is a 180 gallon tank and the upper brace is starting to deteriorate, and this is obviously a very important piece as it helps keep the aquarium together. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so you can see here this has started to crack, and eventually this is going to get worse. So this is why we're replacing the brace today. So to do this, the first step we're going to need to do is drain at least 50% of the water. You want to be very careful when you're doing this, because with this brace off, we risk having a chance of the tank leaking. So if we can drain at least 50% of the water, we should be fine. Also, we're going to just need a few basic tools. Putty knife, a scraper, utility knife comes in handy, and we're going to need some silicone to put the new brace on. So I wanted to point out, we take the putty knife here and we can kind of work that up and underneath, and we want to go around the whole frame there to make sure that that's good and loose. And another thing that's going to make this go a lot faster is if we take a Dremel and we score this right here. I want to score it right here as opposed to here because we've got that seal there, and I want to avoid any kind of contact that would break that silicone seal. Alright, we also want to go around on the inside here. We could probably get a better shot of that over on the back. So we're going to go and work the knife into that piece of the frame there, and we're going to loosen all that up as well. Most of our seal is going to be underneath here at the top, but if we can, once we start getting this moving, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, I've taken a section out of here so you can see there's some silicone there in the back, and then there's a little bit of silicone up here on the edge, and that's all that's holding this in place. And we're just going to slowly work this. Go through it a few times. And we're not really too worried about breaking the old one. Obviously we want to be very careful because we're working around a piece of glass. So go slow, take your time. Also, what's kind of nice is that the old one is a lot more brittle, so you should be able to break it apart a lot easier. So we're just kind of running over and over again with the putty knife until everything comes up. Obviously we're being very, very careful through the whole process. And the more of this you get to come up, the easier it is to get to the rest of it. So that's one good thing about this job, is it gets a little easier and easier.
Excellent.
So you can see this front part just kind of peels off. It might look like I'm putting a lot of pressure on there, but I'm not prying on this a ton. It's more to get underneath it to remove the silicone. And then we're able to get that putty knife right under there. Go over that a few times and it comes right off. Alright, that's probably. Alright, so we've got our frame on. The last thing we need to do here before we install the new one is scrape the old silicone off. Should come off pretty easy. Since we've got a tank that's set up, we want to be careful not to drop that in the tank itself. So just keep an eye on what you're doing. But this actually comes off very easily. Alright, we've got our silicone right here. And I usually apply it to the frame first. I've seen people put it on here before, but on the tank itself first. And then it kind of smears and gets everywhere. So I think it's a lot more controlled if we can just put it on the frame side. We want to get a nice bead of silicone in there. Get this wrapped up. Perfect fit. And we just gently want to go over the frame, make sure that it's completely seated. And we just need to get water back in the tank and we're done. Go for it. So hopefully this video was a benefit to you. You can see the biggest thing is to make sure to drain the tank at least 50% when you're replacing this. Otherwise you risk putting too much pressure on the tank. You want to take your time with the scrapers when you're removing the old piece. And I think everything else is covered there in the video. If you would please hit that subscribe button. I want to thank everybody for their support so far. And please follow me on Instagram. It's vital_reef. And again, thank you so much.